See after some time. Chinnada pranam. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Pranam Swami.
Pranam, pranam, pranam.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om, Hari Om. Papa's emphatic call to all of us yesterday was try to identify God with every object of thought. Very difficult, but how do we do that? Tomorrow is our Puja Swamiji's 14th Mahasamadhi day. While interacting with the devotees, either through letters or in person, he has also given us a clue as practiced by him. First thing required is remembrance of God. His Puja Swamiji says, you should take it that every object you touch is the manifestation of God. When you start your work, you may say paper is God, pen is God, everything is God. As you go on identifying everything with God, whatever work you do in the office or elsewhere is like the puja where you worship God by touching the different idols, chanting shlokas, clothing the idols, feeding them. Everything done with deep devotion and perfect attention. So whenever we observe or we feel, we celebrate the Jayanti or Samadhi day of Mahatmas, what is more important is to somehow remember some of their golden teachings, words of wisdom, which we have not, either we have heard and forgotten, which we have not tried to apply in our life, which we have tried but failed, which we have not, there has not been any sustained effort to remember and implement, then that would be the fittest homage to the Mahatmas. Instead of praising them for what they stood for, that also helps. But it goes, immediately after that. There is no change in us. This is the blunt fact. When we say that he stands for total self-effacement, have we been able to imbibe it? So that it gives us only a sentimental satisfaction or a momentary satisfaction. Because we bring before our mind that loving figure who has endeared himself to everybody. Bas. But suppose we try, on this occasion, I have not been able to live up to at least 1% of what he lived for. Then there is a purpose. That is why these occasions are offered. Otherwise, tomorrow is also another day, that's all, no? Yesterday, Papa was emphasizing about, highlighting about struggle, prayer and experience. You remember? When he was making a mention about elsewhere, about the outpourings, he said struggle, and then prayer, and then experience. How do we get? The struggle is that we feel separate from everybody, separate from every object, separate from every situation. And our prayer is kindly enable me to see you. And when the prayer is transformed into an experience, it comes out like this. First thing required is remembrance of God. You should take it that every object you touch is the manifestation of God. When you start your work, you may say paper is God, pen is God. In our case, on those days this was not there much, so Swamiji did not say about computer or mouse or what is this? Laptop, mic, connections, book, specs, table. It may look odd, we don't have to tom-tom this. But if you are really trying to put it into practice, Swamiji suggests this is the way. Puja Swamiji again says, it must be understood that worship of any of the form is worship of the Supreme Being itself. You need not have the fear that other gods will be angry if you worship only one. When worshipping any one form of the Supreme Being, bring to your mind that that form is a symbol of the Supreme Being and that you are really worshipping the Supreme Being through that symbol. To get over worries and anxieties, you may try to identify each and every thought with God. This practice can be made effective if you send forth a prayer on these lines. O Lord, you are everything, including the so-called desirable and undesirable thoughts that well up in my heart. Why do you come in those ways? Why don't you free me from all thoughts and enable me to get fixed in your real nature? To get over worries and anxieties, you may try to identify each and every thought with God. This practice can be made effective if you send forth a prayer on these lines. Need not necessarily be the same, no? This is how Swamiji prayed, no? We will immediately follow this, and we did not have any dent, any impact on us, because it is not our prayer. O Lord, you are everything, including the so-called desirable and undesirable thoughts that well up in my heart. Desirable and undesirable thoughts that well up in my heart. Why do you come in those ways? Why don't you free me from all thoughts and enable me to get fixed in your real nature? By close association with the Guru, we come to realize that Guru is not merely the body, but being God himself. He is all-pervading, and as all-pervading, he is the entire manifestation seated in every atom of the manifestation. So when we advance in our sadhana, we do not limit our worship to a particular body. We worship him in the entire manifestation. Whatever we see before us is the form of our Guru. He is the form as well as the force within us, within that form. The force that activates that form, power. No? Here our main hurdle is our photos, really. The moment you see a photo and not seeing the photo, you can see the difference. Instead of analyzing it on the academic line, all of us feel that, no? The gap is there. So relying on anything external, relying on anything external makes us to retain the otherness. Is it not so? Think about it. When we say Papa, Mataji, Swamiji, moon photo, 3 photos, we are seeing them separate, na? Though we have been telling that the force behind everything is same. So to some extent, up to certain level, we need. Afterwards, that is why he says, so when we advance in our sadhana, we do not limit our worship to a particular form. Unknowingly, it is not with any bad intention. It is not for irreverence. And immediately when you remove the photo, the Guru thought is immediately gone. No? Unknowingly, it creates. It is responsible for feeling the otherness. That is why Papa in that Papa Mataji is in everybody's heart. God is in everybody's heart. You are in everybody's heart. Think. You have put Papa Mataji in a frame, no? By a close association with the Guru, we come to realize that Guru is not merely the body, but being God Himself, He is all-pervading. And as all-pervading, He is the entire manifestation and seated in every atom of the manifestation. So when we advance in our sadhana, we do not limit our worship to a particular body. We worship Him in the entire manifestation. Whatever we see before us is the form of our Guru. He is the form as well as the force within that form. The force that activates that form. Power. The power that activates. So the struggle all of us are facing, these are all the struggles. Unknowingly, these are all the struggles. Once when on an important day when good gathering in the Bhajan hall, Puja Swamiji was coming there. Again, every time we have to request him, Swamiji, today some message. What is the use of giving message? He has said. And on that particular day, he saw somebody talking inside as well as outside the Bhajan hall. Swamiji gave a bit of his mind on that day. He says, even in a Bhajan hall, if you are not in a position to see Guru or God, how are we going to practice it outside? The Bhajan hall or a Garbhagriha, the Sanctum Sanctorum, is the place where we have superimposed the presence of God for enabling us to get started. So when we do not see it as an idol or a photo, so when we pass through this Bhajan hall, immediately it strikes to us. He is sitting there. If we don't develop it even here, how can we develop it elsewhere? He is everywhere, no doubt. But he is visible in the form of a symbol in the Bhajan hall. So when he is there, will we talk? Will we talk anything that is not in line with, in conformity with literally doing anything? You lost your network connection.
Current.
Because of the current, huh? Oh, when the current goes, this will go.
But YouTube will do.
Oh, but they will get the same. Achha.
YouTube will do.
So we are trying to analyze, when he said struggle, prayer and experience. What are the struggles? Now we are trying to understand the struggle we are passing. Unknowingly we have created this struggle. With good intentions we have created this, not with any bad intention. When we have a photo or an idol, when we place it in the room, it is not with any bad intention. It is with only absolute noble intention of remind. Otherwise we may not remember him at all. At least in that room we will remember him. Perfectly right. Later on, unknowingly, we get stuck there. Only in puja room. In other room we may shout, we may do, all other things will be there. But this is a rehearsal that we come to know that at least in Bhajan hall, in our puja room, when we enter the puja room, what we have, that reverence, slowly we have to stretch it to all other rooms. That is why Papa is not to be limited to the Bhajan hall or ashram, Anandashram. You remember, once we have read this? Because when Mataji says omnipresent Papa's ashram is the whole universe, to know that he has set up this ashram. But unfortunately, we got stuck, just like in a puja room, we also got stuck in a temple or in an ashram. Our prayer is, I must be able to see you, I must be able to identify you with every object of thought. Is it becoming clear?
They
No,
can't
they
reply,
can't,
Swamiji.
Swamiji.
At least you know.
YouTube.
They are hearing.
Yes, YouTube they.
We are here.
Yes, Swamiji.
When Mataji wanted not to have any images or anything in Homa Mandir, this must have been the idea. Anyway, we are used to it, the whole society is used to it. We can't. Individually only we can try this. Collectively, this just come to stay. This is a part of our tradition. The other day, somebody asked me, why so many photos? That means when one photo is there, we will have concentration. When so many photos are there, that was his idea. Anyway, we can't do anything, we will carry on with it, but individually we will try, Photo or no photo, we will try to maintain.
You can take hotspot now.
Eh?
You can take hotspot. Hotspot is on. Hotspot is on.
This itself has gone off. It's coming. So individually, sadhakas individually, can try to dwell on this and apply as much as possible. We are trying to find out, what exactly is our struggle. We are not even aware of our struggle. The reason that are prohibiting us, none of us, all of us would like to identify everything with God. And to the extent we are trying now. So we are trying to unearth why I have not been knowing intellectually 100% convinced. And when we hear the words of wisdom by Mahatmas, by close association with the Guru, we come to realize that Guru is not merely the body, but being God himself, he is all-pervading. And as all-pervading, he is the entire manifestation and seated in every atom of the manifestation. So when we advance in our sadhana, yes. This is a very important point. Are we clear? You won't get any response.
Again, you have to explain.
It's Swamiji, it's Swamiji.
Thank God.
No, the points which you explained little time back, no, they were not there. You can tell them.
We asked them.
No, many of them, they said yes, Swamiji, on the live chat. When you asked, they said yes.
No, Swamiji.
No.
Eh?
No, because Google Meet was not there.
Points can be repeated again because
Oh.
we are into YouTube and again coming back here.
We are trying to understand that all of us are very serious about it, no? All of us are very serious when Papa said that our effort should be to identify God with every thought of object. Sorry, no? Every object of thought. What am I telling you? Every object of thought, okay? But why is it that I am knowing very well, all this is to be done, this has to be done, this should be my effort. Why is it that we are not in a position to do? So we are trying to understand that. Then Puja Swamiji comes to our rescue and says, by close association with the Guru, again we remind, tomorrow is his 14th Mahasamadhi day. So instead of just looking at the behavioral pattern or his interacting system or a pattern, we thought we will try to go a little more deeper into what he has shared with us from his own experience on the various states of spiritual journey. So he says, by close association with the Guru, we come to realize that Guru is not merely the body, but being God himself. He is all-pervading. And as all-pervading, he is the entire manifestation, seated in every atom of the manifestation. So when we advance in our sadhana, this is very important. So when we advance in our sadhana, we do not limit our worship to a particular body. We worship him in the entire manifestation. Whatever we see before us is the form of our Guru. He is the form as well as the force within that form. The force that activates that form. That is why we worship the form, no? Force is not visible, palpable. But form is visible. But not merely form, the power behind the form. So power behind the form and the form both are a source of inspiration for us. This we come to realize when we advance on the spiritual path. Now, why is it that in even knowing it, suppose you come to ashram, we go to our holiest of the holy place is Bhajan Hall. Even that expression is not right, but that is how everybody understands, you know. Every place is holy. But we have superimposed, you know, because that was the place where he lived. He means through that form he lived again. And so there are photos, images of Param Puja Papa, Param Puja Mataji, Param Puja Swamiji. Now what is happening to us when we go through that? Are we seeing them as one or are we seeing them as different? We need not answer, but we are asking ourselves. From there we get the clue that when one form is concentrated, that means the otherness has already come. So when we advance, initially all these things are needed, 100% needed. That's why Swamiji used the word, as we advance in our sadhana, we do not limit. Then the form or the form, whether the form is there or the form is not there, it does not matter for us. And for the sake of, uniformity, we also do the same thing, you know. We don't ignore anything. Because God is coming in different forms to offer the worship to him through those forms. And each one may be drawing something from each form. So when we bow down before Puja Swamiji's form, when we bow down before Puja Mataji's form, when we bow down before Puja Papa's form, if something, you know, God has made us to identify something in them. So if we think all these things, we are not limiting. The same power expresses through different gadgets, you know, in different ways. So the Mahatva comes out in different forms, then it's all these things should come, you know, that's what Swamiji means. We do not limit only to a particular form.
Swamiji, one thing, Swamiji, even though we say Papa, Mataji, Swamiji, we consider the same one power, Swamiji.
Very good. Then the next stage is to see them the same power in everybody, no?
I will try, sir.
Again, we do not limit to this form.
Swamiji.
Initial stage, as you said, 1, then 2, then 3, it should go on. It's an ongoing process. It was because of Papa Mataji was attracted to Papa. Mataji, Mataji found the divinity in Papa first. So she joined Papa. Both of them started this ashram. In 49, Puja Swamiji joined. After 18 years of ashram. Somebody has seen Papa, somebody has seen Mataji, somebody has only seen Swamiji. So naturally, each one would have developed a reverential relationship with these forms. Through Swamiji, many people would have come to know about Papa and Mataji. Through Mataji, people would have come to know about Papa. Through Papa, many would have known about Mataji. So initially, we are 100% justified in offering our reverence, So whenever we go to Bhajan hall, whenever we offer the flowers, whenever we attend the arati, whenever we just pass through the Bhajan hall, what we got first, the first day of your arrival, it is being revived. But at the same time, Papa's words also keep on ringing in our mind. Papa Mataji is in everybody. Because a group of people were performing bhajans very religiously in Madras, every week or once in 15 days, with Papa Mataji's photo. And when somebody else did not wanted one more photo, and then afterward, when the devotees commented that certain people see God only in photos, immediately Papa corrected, what did you do? You also saw God in those two forms. Somebody else sees God in other forms. Whereas, this is the word, whereas Papa Mataji is in everybody's heart, everybody's heart. Not only the devotees of Anandashram, that means the force behind, And then he adds, God is in everybody's heart. You are in everybody's heart. So the force which Swamiji here says, he is the form as well as the force within that form. The force that activates that form. So when Papa yesterday asked us to identify God with every object of thought, today he is clarifying through Puja Swamiji's words, these are some of the ways by which you can try. First he said, when you go to the office or when you attend to the household work, you should take it that every object you touch is the manifestation of God. When you start your work, you may say paper is God, pen is God, everything is God. As you go on identifying everything with God, whatever work you do in the office or elsewhere is like the puja where you worship God by touching the different idols, chanting slogas, clothing the idols, feeding them, offering arati, offering dhubam, anything, Everything done with deep devotion and perfect attention. Some do. We may fail. 100% nobody will be able to do it. We are not trained. But one or two. Then he says, to get over worries and anxieties, you may try to identify each and every thought with God. This practice can be made effective if you send forth a prayer. Prayer in our own words. O Lord, you are everything, including the so-called desirable, undesirable thoughts that well up in my heart. Why do you come in those forms? Because then I see you as separate, I name it as desirable, undesirable, and you are nowhere in the picture. The otherness becomes so powerful, I miss you, I don't see you at all. Why do you come in those ways? Why don't you free me from all thoughts and enable me to get fixed in your real nature? That force, that subtle and mysterious power. And then again, by close association with the Guru, we come to realize that Guru is not merely the body, but being God himself. He is all-pervading, and as all-pervading, he is the entire manifestation and seated in every atom of the manifestation. So when we advance in our sadhana, we do not limit our worship to a particular body. We worship him in the entire manifestation. Whatever we see before us is the form of our Guru. He is the form as well as the force within that form. The force that activates the form.
Swamiji, one question is there any difference between temple going and chanting mantra? Because if we go to temple, we all want to see God.
What is the mental attitude? If we say we are going to see God, we have not been able to see God anywhere else. So at least on that particular place, let me try to develop, habituate. Then slowly I can see God everywhere. I should start somewhere, so that is the place where, so when we come to this ashram, universal love and service, universal vision, I should get it. But I must start somewhere. And it was through this form that this particular expression was touched and kindled. So when I come here, I pray, not to limit myself only to the prayer to this form. You drew me here and made me aware that ultimate is universal vision. Help me please. I have failed. In spite of going through, in spite of prostrating before you 1,000 times, still I am not anywhere near universal vision. Such type of, so for all that, this form helped us and is still helping us. Anything you would all like to share?
Tell everything to God. Whatever happens, complaints or happiness, sorrows, tell everything to God, moment to moment.
Anything else?
Namaskaram, Swamiji. Can I tell something? Swamiji, can I tell something about
Yes.
the originality of prayer?
Yes, please speak.
Please.
Swamiji, actually, whenever we, suppose we are seeing a house to buy or something like that, then we look at, we don't look at what all features are there which are there in other houses also, no. We look for something different. Maybe in dresses also we think, okay, what is different in this? What is nicer, like that. So that will
Okay.
Your
actually
audio.
tell that somebody has put their effort in that. It's not a copy, but somebody has put their effort in that.
Effort in what?
A little more adding,
So-
newness.
Acha,
newness,
comfort.
Something.
Okay.
Something more than.
So what is the question?
Originality.
No, Swamiji, I was just thinking about the
Acha.
originality of prayer. So it is our effort.
You are right. Originality of prayer. Originality comes out in the form of so many things. Not what others have done. I follow. Correct.
Yes.
That is why each creation is unique. You can see that each house, each architect.
Supriya.
They why are they approached? Because they give you this idea.
Little more.
Different
Yes,
types of different. So the creativity comes out, God comes out in that form. Perfectly all right. Originality means, you find, this I have not seen, you will say. This particular dish I have not tasted, beautiful. No? This particular dress I have not seen, good. This particular drawing I have not seen. It gives us Because the originality at least gives us something. Anything?
Swamiji, when we see Papa in photo and Mataji, Swamiji, somewhat feel we get inside Swamiji that
We get some feeling
I could
inside
not
when we see
explain
Papa
that.
Mataji Swamiji's photo.
Do we get?
We can't explain.
but when we see the yes Swamiji, sure. அது என்ன ஃபீல் சொல்ல முடியல பட் when we see the other objects that means naturally when we shift over from the
There is a difference.
உடனே அந்த ஷிஃப்ட் ஓவர் வந்தோடனே அந்த அந்த பார்வையே மாறி போயிடுது சாமி அது அது எப்படி மாறுது அதுக்கப்புறம் அந்த நீங்கள் சொல்கிற அதர்னஸ் வந்துடுது அது ஆட்டோமேட்டிக் அது
அதனால தான் அந்த ஃபார்மில் இப்போது when we say that when we see the form we get an inexplicable peaceful feeling. It may be for a trice, for a quarter of a second. 100% right, 100% right. But it is not staying, you know.
அதுதான் சாமி
Initially okay. Then
அந்த ஸ்டே இல்லாதனால அது மத்த
that is why Puja Swamiji is telling, as we advance, that means we have halted somewhere. We are not advancing. As we keep on advancing, it will not be limited to that particular form.
Swamiji,
1 minute. When we first see Shirdi Baba's photo, we were all, right from our childhood days, Shirdi Baba has been the family, deity. So one word, we used to do puja, we used to have this event, it's very fresh in our mind, we get joy in it. Even when we do the Manasika puja, everything is okay. But one word of his, Sabka Malik Ek hai na, this one particular word, I am Nanirikka Payamen. These are all some of the words he said. Then slowly he is taking us from that form to the universal aspect. So when we see that form, we also try to raise ourselves to the universal aspect. And in the universal aspect, every form has got a relevance. So these are some of the ways by which, we have reverence for that form, but we are not riveted to that form. As we advance in our spiritual, Swamiji has made it very clear, as we advance in our spiritual journey, we will not limit ourselves to a particular. So when we advance in our sadhana, we do not limit our worship to a particular body. We worship him in the entire manifestation. Whatever we see before us is the form of our Guru. So normally we don't put one form, To teach that, God prompted us to have the photos of as many gurus, as many deities also. There will be Lord Rama, Lord Krishna, Lord Anjaneya. In sometimes, Lord Muruga, Lord Ayyappa, Devis, Mahalakshmi, Mahakali, Mahasaraswati. In somebody's puja room, you can see so many things, and so many gurus' photos. So when we go there, we can have, you have expressed yourself explicitly through all these forms. So that means there itself we are accepting that it is not limited to one form. No, it has to be slowly stretched. All these things has not gone into our head, We have seen only as Rama's form, Krishna's form, this form, that form. No. The very purpose of God motivating us to put all these things, in one aspect it may look to be a hindrance, but in another aspect it is a slowly an expansion. That we try to see the same Guru when you see Kanji Periva's photo, when we see Ramana Bhagavan's photo, all of us, as you said now, something which we cannot express. So we make a round. Now, having read Puja Swamiji's words, now let us try to stretch it a little more, So far we have not applied our lines. So yesterday when Papa taught us about this, made us to dwell upon it, today through Puja Swamiji's words, more and more clarification is coming. So let us try. And in our own original way, prayer. And the prayer is very, 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 very important. Why do you bring all these things into my mind? That is also important. That should not be forgotten. O Lord, you are everything, including the so-called desirable and undesirable thoughts that well up in my heart. Why do you come in those forms? Do we pray? No? First of all, we are asking, do we pray like this? So today he is making us to, drawing our attention to that. Why are you making me to dwell on certain things which keep me away from you? Though you are in that form, you are in that form, agree.
இந்த மாதிரி prayer நம்ம பண்றது சாமி கரெக்ட்.
அதான் அது இன்னைக்கு பண்றதுக்கு சுவாமிஜி நம்மகிட்ட சொல்றாரு.
ஆமா சாமி.
Forget about what has not been done, Every day we are advancing. Forget about what has not been done. We are trying to, that is why they are watching us and they are giving us this guidance. The same thing were read out to us 10 years back or 5 years back, probably we would not have understood this language. Today at least correct. We are looking back and we are seeing ourselves. And now, this is where I can practice. This is not a big thing. It can be practiced. Every day, at least for a minute or two, I can say, you made me to forget about you. Yes. When I was in the office, when I was doing cooking, when I was going to with friends. But don't make me to do that, please, in our own way. And because I forgot you, I developed certain aversions and likes. I developed some prejudices, some happiness, so many things, because I did not see you there in that form or in that situation. Naturally, I developed, based upon my previous baggage, I developed the plus and minus. Please don't do it. I am incapable of doing it by myself. If it was possible, having heard all these for so many decades, I would have been able to stop it. But I am not in a position to do it by myself. And you are sitting there, and you are keeping quiet. This is not fair. Come out, please. Like that,
வன்பூர் சுவாமிஜி, பப்பா மாதாஜி சுவாமிஜி அப்படி அது மாதிரி இல்லாமல் கூட இப்போ நம்ம எந்த கடவுள், நம்ம எப்படி அந்த சின்ன வயசுல கடவுள் நம்ம நினைக்கிறோமோ, பிள்ளையார ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்காக அந்த அந்த ஃபார்ம் பார்க்கும் போதும் ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்காக அந்த ஃபீல் வந்து கிடைக்குது. ஆனால் மற்ற ஆப்ஜெக்ட்ல வந்து அது
கிடைக்கல. அதான் Swamiji is pointing out that only. Swamiji is pointing out that now don't limit. Previously we were limiting.
Swamiji,
I
want to tell on the same line. See, when we go inside Papa Mataji's room, we see the chair, even the cushion, the leg cushion, it is very sacred for us. Even the crochet that is put on the lace that is put is very sacred. But once I see the same lace outside, I see the same design outside, I don't have the same feeling for it.
That is what is pointed out by Swamiji,
Yes, Swamiji.
It is we have limited. We have limited to what they have used, where they have sat, on what they sat. Actually, when they have been hammering, with a big hammer on our head, that everything is his, everything is his, everything is his. Initially, all those things were objects of inspiration, no doubt, to associate with their presence. And now we are trying to understand what is that presence, how does it relate to my spiritual journey. Then slowly entering into what they have shared with us from their own experience. They did not limit to any such thing, whereas we got limited to such things. Now we will try to correct ourselves.
One more thing, Swamiji. since 2-3 days I'm having fever, so that makes me keep in touch with Papa all the time in communication. So I don't know whether fever is a good thing. So that we can remain in communication all the time. It was helpful to me at least.
Then fever also, you can say. Fever and non-fever time. So that we don't limit anything to anyone. That is the message they are giving, We don't limit. It is high time we try to, that particular word of Papa, probably we would not have understood it. Literally we would have understood it. Sense of otherness sets limit to the illimitable. Sense of otherness sets limit to the illimitable. When we see Papa, Mataji, Swamiji, Brahmana Bhagavan, all Gurus, Shirdi Baba, anybody whom we revere, if they are not in me, as we advance, I must be able to know that they are all there in me. Though they have quit the form, their form has been dissolved, it will never come back. But still they are as fresh and as lively in my mind the moment I think. What other proof I need? So they are all within me, in various forms. Whenever I want, you want in Brahmana Bhagavan's form, you want in Papa's form, you want Mataji's form, you want Shirdi Baba's form, I am there, Just we are trying to convert, transform. The moment you made me to get in touch with your inspiring forms, and every form has got a place in my heart now. Every day morning, when I pray that, I can bring them before my mind, touch their feet, and pray to them. Just like when I identify the greatness in all you, let me also see the greatness in all the creation. These are some of the ways by which we can step up, Never get limited, This is a powerful message Puja Swamiji is giving us, especially when we try to remember him intensely on his 14th Mahasamadhi day tomorrow. There are so many quotations. Actually, what happened was during his centenary, 2019, when we were intensely thinking about him, he was not very much in favor of bringing out any books in his name, because he always used to tell us, everything has been told by Mataji, Papa. Papa has not left any subject untouched. But still we used to tell him that people would like to hear it through your own words, your own interpretation. So whenever he used to dictate letters or tell us that you should write like this, or whenever he shared some thoughts on important days, which were all recorded and which were all published in Vision, these letters, we used to cull out and keep it in a separate folder. And then at a later stage, sometime during the late 90s, we brought it out in the form of mundane to spiritual. All the messages that he delivered during the important days, up to 90 or 98, we don't exactly remember that period, it came out in the form of ponder.
Points to ponder.
Points to ponder.
Diving deep with it.
Points to ponder. So points to ponder and these things, then these were there. So when during the centenary year, everybody brings out a big book. So we had thought of bringing out a small book, culling out from his own words which he wrote in 2003. But later on we thought something on a pocket size should be there. It will be a good sadhana for us. Whether people are, that's a different thing. So then when we started on this project, Swamiji guided us in such a way that he made us to categorize, under 10 heads. All are he only. Number 1, God is the universe. Number 2, God will never let us down. I'm sorry. That is in 1. The categories are God, Guru, life, love, divine name, sadhana, ego, seva, surrender, universal vision. Under 10 categories. And even in 1, another 10. That is how beautifully it was led. First, there are so many in so many books, but he led us to identify and then bring them and then categorize it. And every 10 categories, and even in every category 10. The quotations which we read out are from this small book. You can see that now. The Silent Sage. So tomorrow we are intensely remembering him. Again, not to the form. Through that form. For all these you have facilitated us. Though every Mahatma has revealed it, you have put it in your own simple way. And you made us to locate it, identify it. You made us to bring it out in the form of a small book. And now, we did not understand the relevance of many things. When Papa made us to say, you identify every object of thought with God, today when we open up, we could see that this gives us more practical methodology. So when we come to Ramana building, when we start something, immediately we should understand, this laptop is also you, this pen is also you, the telephone is also you. But that's all right. These are practical suggestions. I can do it silently. It is not a tall philosophy. And when I handle it, when I keep it in, something, just like a puja material. Swamiji says it is like puja material. So whatever I do it for puja material, I try to extend it. So this is how, we are being led. So let us all take it seriously in our heart. And another aspect is that we are watched over, guided. What is needed at the appropriate time, he provides. There are 100 quotations in this small book. But today he chose to pick out 4. Think about it. That which has got a connection to what Papa told us yesterday. What does it mean? It means we are watched over and always we are under their guidance. So we thank them from the bottom of the heart. Make us aware of this. When we hear this, we can understand. Again, we forget. You are within us, you are guiding us. But still, when I meet with men and matters, next moment, now it is 5 o'clock, 5:01 or 5:02, when we go out, otherness has come. So we in our own way, we try to pray to remove this otherness. Because that particular quotation might now give us this, what do you call it? Kindling. Sense of otherness sets limit to the illimitable. It has been here in this Centenary Hall for 4 or 5 years or more than that. 10 years, yes. But it was not attracting us. Whenever we say, somebody will look into it. But how did he prompt us to put it here? Just imagine. It's a very powerful quotation. It contains the cream of spirituality. Sense of otherness sets limit to the illimitable. This is what Papa said, you identify everything not as other, not as other, not as other. Because when you see the otherness, it sets limit to the illimitable. You are not seeing God. Illimitable stands for God. So we are deeply, deeply, deeply grateful. And at the same time, we pray to Him. This tempo has to be sustained. You made us to concentrate upon the In Quest of God text. And after the 37th chapter was over, you made us to dwell on the outpourings. And in the outpourings, you said, struggle, prayer, experience. Yes, I am passing through struggle. Struggle in maintaining God remembrance. But I have not applied, I have never offered my prayer on those lines. I would have prayed for so many things, but I have never prayed for constant remembrance. And then now I know that then only it can be transformed into an activity experience. So prayer is the concept, Prayer comes out of struggle. I thought by doing this I will be able to, by doing this I will be able to, by doing this I will be able to. No. I have been doing it for decades. Still, no. I feel I am there where we started. That rowing. I thought I was doing so many things. But early morning when I see my boat is still there, I have not done what is to be done. Though the physical labor was there, and feeling that I am moving, but actually I am not moving. I am exactly in the place where I am. So these are all some of the words that make us to think about this through our prayer. We are not condemning ourselves, but we are telling, unknowingly we got stuck there. Today he also made us to think about the forms, attachment to the forms, and at the same time it is a help, it is a prop, it is a fillip, it's a push, but it can also halt our progress. So as we advance, we should not get stuck. Not that we have to remove those photos. We keep that photo, but mentally we don't limit to that form. Hari Om. Anything more? Tomorrow is our Puja Swamiji's Samadhi day, so it gives us an opportunity to think intensely about the inspiring life and mission he placed before us. Not merely praising him, That is something which he doesn't like at all.
Swamiji,
Audio is not proper.
Enadu?
Pardon? Sanatana Dharmam.
Sanatana Dharmam thane idellam. Yeah. பாரதத்தோடு சனாதன தர்மம் என்ன பகவான் தான் எல்லாம் பண்ணுற, எல்லாரிலையும் பகவான் இருக்கார். அதனால தானே லோகா சமஸ்தா சுகினோ பவந்து நம்ம சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கோம். None of the scriptures identify with any particular species or segments. That has been our Sanatana Dharmam. And varieties of approach. It doesn't limit the person to stick on to one. Whatever, because as many men, so many paths. Only up to a certain stage, just like when we go to first standard to 10th standard, we have the common syllabus, curriculum. Common curriculum, common syllabus. But after that, each one flowers, chooses. By +2, I think +2 also is same. From there, the options come. Then we choose depending upon our taste, temperament, inclination, aptitude, preferences, priorities, and then we bring out of the individuality. Same thing is there in the spiritual line. With form, without form, with ritual, without ritual, with shastras, without shastras, with simple name, with simple dedication, varieties. These are all there in Sanatana Dharma. It has given absolute freedom for us to choose. That is why it has become Sanatana. Otherwise it doesn't become Sanatana. If it is only through this way, there are many who are not the other way. This is applicable for everybody, you know. All his creation, he has given us this. We can interpret, free to interpret in any way he wants. But he will sit there, he will guide us from within. He will allow us to deny himself. He will, so many things. So tomorrow again we remind, tomorrow morning when we come, right from now, we think about our dearest Puja Swamiji and how he has influenced us. What is it that helps us to draw towards him? And then praying to him. You are seated in our heart now. And at least not 1% of what you have gained, why don't you give? Share with us, please. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. 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 Hari Om to everybody. Pranam, 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 pranam. Pranam. Pranam.